Hello and welcome back to the channel. As much as I want to seem calm and put together for these videos that I do for YouTube, I wanted to talk about the reality of what going through these layoffs look like behind the scenes. If you're interested in hearing what this layoff journey has been like for us and the emotional toll it took on our relationship, then stay tuned. When we got the news of my husband getting laid off back in June, we quickly went into emergency planning and figured out how to cut costs and save more. The emergency planning was something that I had to push because I felt like I was in more control of my emotions since I wasn't the one that was directly getting laid off. I wanted to be respectful of my husband and him really processing the news that he got. He was definitely in shock about the news of him getting laid off, and I wanted to be respectful of his time to really process all of that and feel what he needed to feel. I felt like he was going through the typical stages that you go through when you experience grief or a loss. So he was definitely experiencing denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. As for myself, I also felt like I was going through some of those stages, but because I was indirectly feeling the layoffs, I wasn't really going through the emotions as hard as he was. Oftentimes, I found myself hiding my emotions because I wanted to be strong for both of us. And it was really difficult because I found myself feeling a lot of anxiety. I was staying up late and not really getting much sleep. I was trying to figure out how I can help, what I can do to relieve some of the stress. It was just really a lot for both of us. I really didn't want my husband to feel desperate in his job search. I know that we really needed the money since he was our sole income for our household, but I still wanted him to find something that he would be happy with and he could see himself doing long term. So we talked about it and we agreed that until mid-October, he could continue to search for jobs that interested him and made him feel excited. And if he didn't get an offer by mid-October, then he would start looking for any IT job just to pay the bills. In one of our previous videos, we talked about what our job search has been like for us. Since then, I have stopped looking for jobs because I have been focusing my energy in other things, but my husband has still continued his job search, and we felt like we've been pretty lucky with how things were going for him. For the past 2.5 months, he's been having interviews with 2 to 3 companies a week on average, and he was making it pretty far in these interview rounds. So we felt really optimistic because he was making it to the end stages, if not completely finishing the interviews. So we thought that, okay, one of these must lead to an offer soon. But unfortunately, even though he got really far and completed a lot of those interviews, it didn't lead to an offer, and it was leading to rejection after rejection, which really took an emotional toll on us because we couldn't help but feel like something good was coming soon, and we kept getting our hopes up, but it really didn't lead to good news. So then we felt deflated and felt like we had to start over and go back to square one. So that's really what he had to do. He had to get over it, brush himself off, and get back up and put himself out there to interview again and apply for more jobs. All of this made him really question himself and his skills, and it made him feel less confident going into his upcoming interviews. I think what really hit him hard was that one of his interviews, he got really far and made it practically to the end, up to the point where this company wanted to fly him out to Charlotte and have him do an in-office visit and meet the team. How could you not get your hopes up thinking that you're gonna get an offer for that? But as the day arrived where he was supposed to go and see the team, they decided to cancel his visit. And the following day, they told him that they were not going to move forward with him. And that was because the hiring manager felt like he wasn't a good fit, even though everybody else on the team loved him. So that was a pretty big blow to our confidence. Not too shortly after, more people from his team had found new jobs and decided to leave the company, which we thought maybe there was hope for him to keep his job or extend his time there a little longer. His company even went on to open a new position for his team to do exactly his role. And even though he inquired about it to see if he could stay, they told him no, he could not, and they were going to proceed with the layoff, and they're going to hire this new person and offer them lower compensation, which meant a lower base pay and no equity. In terms of our relationship, I felt like in the beginning we were going strong. I was doing really good with hiding my emotions and not fully letting all of this get to me. But over time, as his end date was quickly approaching, I found myself feeling more anxious, and I found myself cracking under the pressure of this deadline. So I ended up letting it all get to me, and the negativity started to show. I found myself being short and frustrated with my husband, and it really started causing a lot of friction between our relationship, which really wasn't great. It's something that I'm not proud of, and I know that he also felt like he was going through similar emotions. But I realized that us arguing and not getting along was really affecting his performance, and it really affected his mindset going into his interviews, and that was the last thing that I wanted for us. So I prioritized trying to work through my emotions and sitting down and talking to him and expressing how I was feeling and why I think I felt that way, and making sure that he felt heard as well, so that we could come up with a plan on how we could best support each other and be optimistic going forward. Our situation felt really embarrassing, and we were really ashamed about not being prepared for this scenario. I mean, we never anticipated that we would get a layoff, and we didn't think that the emergency funds were going to be needed right now. Unfortunately, that was our biggest mistake, was not having our emergency fund fully funded. We thought that we could get by with just having $2,000 saved up, and we were kind of stuck in that mentality when we started our debt-free journey, trying to follow some Dave Ramsey steps, where he recommended to put $1,000 in your emergency savings and then pay off your consumer debt as quickly as possible. In our case, we decided to have $1,000 for each of us, and we thought that that was fine because we're continuing to work off paying our debt. So with the emergency savings we did have, it really wasn't enough to get us by for very long. I had a really hard time being on social media. It was really hard to see my friends going on to live their lives and have fun, take vacations, buy new expensive homes in the Bay Area. So I just found it easier on myself to take myself away from social media and do a detox, because it was just better for my mental health. When times got really tough and I felt desperate, I did let my closest friends know about our situation. I've had some phone calls with them, and I even went back on Instagram to let my closest friends know that this is our situation and we could really use some help. I asked them to help us with job referrals and if they had any resources that they could share. And I'm glad that I went back on social media to do that because my friends really came through. A lot of them responded and let me know that they were happy to refer either of us to a job if we found something that we liked. So it was really great. And they even reached out to other people that they knew and friends and family regarding open positions and if they were willing to refer us to something that was open. The support from my friends really meant a lot, and some were even generous enough to offer to lend us money, but that was the last thing I wanted to do, was to ask for a handout or bother anybody with that, because I know that it's tough times for all of us. So I really wanted to make sure that I did everything that I could before really trying to ask for money. However, some people didn't have the most helpful comments. Some people did tell me, well, why don't you move back to California? As if moving back to California was going to solve all of our problems. And moving to Georgia really isn't the problem. It's not that we moved here and that caused the layoff, or because we live here, we're not able to find jobs. That's really not the case at all. It's really just everybody is being impacted by these tech layoffs, and there are a lot of people looking for jobs. I took on a new job recently. The pay is not that high. It pays close to minimum wage, but I was still thankful to find something that gets me out of the house and helps me pay the bills. I often remind myself that I have to be willing to do hard work, and I have to be in the mindset that nothing is beneath me. In the first few weeks of doing this new job, it was really a hard transition for me. I was doing a lot of standing, cleaning, admin work, and lifting, and this was all stuff that I hadn't done for a really long time because I was adjusted to a cushy desk job where I got to work from home. Like I said, the transition was hard, and I had days where I felt really sad in the beginning because it was such an adjustment for me, especially on the days where customers weren't that nice. So I found myself having a hard time getting past it and not taking it personally. But I eventually got over it, and I changed my mindset, and that has really helped me move forward. I had really great bosses that had a lot of skills and were running their own business, and I needed a lot of help in that department. I was just starting my own small business, and it was really great to come into this new job and see how they run their business. So I've just been a sponge and trying to learn as much as possible, and I get paid along the way. So when I change my mindset to that, it really helps me move forward and feel a lot happier about what I'm doing day to day, instead of feeling like I should go back to a corporate job or a 9-to-5 that paid me 6 figures but didn't make me feel as happy. My husband has been working hard to try to find a new job, and I wanted to make sure that I was doing everything I could on my end to help support us and make our situation a little bit better. I started to push myself to get my small business going. I even asked for more hours at work so that I could bring home more money at the end of the day. And I started taking my YouTube channel more seriously. I'm really motivated more than ever to make sure that my channel keeps growing and I get it to a place where I'm really happy with the work that I've done. And the intent behind all of this is to really make sure that I'm helping people that could really benefit from my help. I've been putting in a lot more time to plan my videos ahead of time, write out outlines and scripts to help my videos get a little bit better so that I'm not so awkward in front of the camera. I'm also stepping out of my comfort zone and seeking out collaborations, which is something that gave me a lot of anxiety I really didn't want to ask for help. And for those of you that don't know, I don't tell my friends and family about my YouTube channel. I really only have a select few people that know about the YouTube channel, and I just prefer that my channel grows organically just because my channel is very personal to me. Obviously, on my videos, I'm very vulnerable and I share a lot of personal information, which is something that I don't really want to advertise to all of my friends and family because I know that they may not be watching my content for the right reasons and they may just be nosy. And I know that all that could be extra views and subscribers. But again, I want my channel to be something more towards viewers that genuinely want to watch my content and find my content helpful. As for the small business that I just started up, that's also been a challenge for me because I have a lot of anxiety and fear with going out and making connections and networking and letting people know about my business. I'm trying to do that more and looking for opportunities to network, and I'm even working on cold calling. So all of this is really new to me and out of my comfort zone, but I feel like I have nothing to lose. I know that it's hard to deal with rejection and I may feel slight embarrassment at first, but I know that over time I'm gonna get over it and I'm gonna get more comfortable. And I really need to get over all of this fear and anxiety because I really have to do everything that I can to help our situation and know that I gave it my all in terms of what I could do to help us generate more income. All in all, as tough as these times are, I'm really proud of my husband and I with everything that we've accomplished and how we have composed ourselves during this whole time. I'm especially really proud of my husband because as easy as it could be for him to check out of his job, since he knows that his last day is coming up soon, he has been really focused on still doing a good job and leaving on good terms and making sure that he helps his team as much as possible. I can't say that I would have handled it as well as he did if I were in his situation, but I am really impressed and he is still putting in the work to do his interviews and prep for them. So I've been seeing him do a lot of studying and applying for more jobs after hours, which is really impressive because it has taken a lot of energy out of all of us to pretty much be doing something all hours of the day recently because we know that we have a ticking clock. So we've been busy just making sure that we're doing everything that we can. Honestly, these are really confusing times, not just for me and my husband, but for all of us. I know that many of us are experiencing layoffs or know somebody that has been laid off, and we're just not really sure what's going on with the economy. My husband and I are personally seeing a lot of layoffs in tech, and we are seeing those companies reopen those positions with lower pay and with little to no equity. What's more confusing is that the news isn't really reporting about these layoffs as much, and they're not saying that the economy is not doing great. Instead, they're saying, yes, there's some layoffs, but the job market has been better than before because there's more jobs on the market than there used to be, which I feel like is deceiving because they're laying off and reopening those positions. And even though there are those open positions, many of us are struggling to land the job because there's so many of us applying for those jobs and the companies are demanding a lot more from us for a lot less. Since our last job search video, my husband has applied to 15 more companies and over half of them have interviewed him. He has either gotten pretty far in those interviews, if not finishing the interview rounds, but like I mentioned earlier, none of them have led to an offer. We're feeling a lot of pressure and we're really trying to step up our game this month because with this being the month of September, We feel like it's one of the last few months we have before companies start doing a spending freeze, which means that they're also going to do a hiring freeze. We've already heard about companies canceling upcoming travel, as well as canceling open roles that they had posted. For instance, my husband was applying for a company and he was in his second to last interview with this company, and they reached out not too long ago letting him know that they are putting the role on hold and therefore they will not be moving forward with his interviews. I know that it's a tough time for all of us that are looking for work, and with the end of the year approaching, with the holidays and with fiscal years coming to an end, it really isn't helping our situation. I know that it feels like things aren't in our favor right now and companies have the upper hand, but I'm here to remind you guys to keep powering through. As tough and depressing as this all feels, we have to keep motivating ourselves to power through this and to not give up, because this is us fighting for our livelihood. And I know that right now it doesn't look great with us having to go back into the office or with us having to do hybrid work, but my husband and I try to remind ourselves that this is all temporary, and when the times get better, that's when we're going to keep fighting for what we deserve and what we think we're valued at. For us, it's looking like we have to take a significant pay cut, and as much as we don't want to accept that, it just feels like that's all we're getting offered. So we feel like we don't really have a choice but to accept that, and we hope that over time we'll be able to get our salaries up or even look for better opportunities to get more pay so that we're able to get back into a state where we're a little bit more comfortable with our cost of living. What we're experiencing is a lot of recruiters pushing back on salary negotiation, and we feel like we don't really have the power to negotiate much. So we don't want to push it because we don't want to risk losing an offer altogether and getting cut out from the interview rounds. So that's kind of how we feel like our assessment of the job market has been. If you have any thoughts or comments you want to share, please put it in the comments and let us know how your experience has been. If you've made it this far in the video, thank you for watching. And if you have been following us since we started this layoff series, then I want to say a huge thank you for watching us since then. And if you're new to this channel, I want to say welcome and thank you for checking out our channel. We appreciate everybody's support. We're working hard to get monetized again on our channel. We were monetized once before and we feel like we'll get there again. Right now, we're currently at 1,300 watch hours and we're working hard to meet the 4,000 watch hours. So all of your support with watching our videos has been a big help, and I thank you for that. We hope that you have been enjoying our content and continue to support us by watching our videos. And if you haven't checked out our other videos when we've started our debt-free journey, then please check out those videos as well. We would greatly appreciate it. Huge thank you to everybody, and may the odds be in your favor as you look for your next career opportunity. We hope to catch you guys in our next video.